Alright, hello. So, this is my first real video on this channel of 3D modeling, and I'm starting off with a devil type character here. The start of the video I had already started with a bit of a basic head shape because I wasn't sure where I was going with it. Now I've started recording. So, this is a full body sculpt. Full body isn't used in the final render, but I like to make complete characters anyways. You can see here I'm starting off with just big shapes in the sculpt mode and getting in eyes right now using the mirror modifier. You can see I'm making eyelids around them. I'm going for like a very devious expression. Now I'm carving out the lips using the crease tool. You hold control to make it crease outwards instead of inwards. I'm setting up a orthographic front and side view for the cameras. Here I'm making ears. I make big pointy ears for this. Reminiscent of almost like elf ears. A little bigger. A little less appealing looking. I've got horns in, like typical devil imagery. I wasn't exactly sure how humanoid I was going to go with it at this point. I wasn't exactly sure what direction I wanted to take, so I'm just making it real ugly. I love making ugly stuff. Now I'm getting in the nostrils and some wrinkles, some more finer details. I'm using the remesh tool in Blender. That is Control R. Yeah, getting in crow's feet, more wrinkles. The remesh tool is great because it gives you quads instead of tris, and that's a lot easier for retopology if you need to put on actual textures. For this I do texture painting, so it didn't really help me here because I can just use smart unwrapping, but okay, getting in a nice border around the horns, shaping out the head more, and now I believe I'm about to start making a neck. Alright, I've went into smooth mode now. And I'm getting my shapes a little better, and now I'm making a neck. So you'll see here I copy the head and then decimate it and put it to the side, and I copy it a bunch of times. That's for is proportion reference. So for this model I used, I think 7.5 head, yeah, here we go, decimating it. I think I used 7.5 head proportions, meaning that the character is 7.5 of its own head tall, including, you know, the actual head itself. This is a pretty standard proportion for a realistic man character. The first head is obviously the head, and then the second head should go down to the nipples, I think, and then the third head is the belly button. The fourth head, you know, like that. You can Google like 7 head proportions, and you'll find a good reference image. Here I'm using just subdivision surface modifiers and cubes to build out a general body shape. You really don't have to do this. You can honestly, it looks quite goofy right now. I do fix it. You can honestly download just like a low poly base reference model of just like a standard person. I'm now going into the sculpt tools to get a more, you know, obviously defined body than what I had before. You can just download a low poly version of whatever you're looking for. Like if you want to make a male character, you can just search low poly man on some free 3D model website, and I'm sure you can find one that will work for you. Here I'm getting in the collarbones and the butt. Everyone, you know, loves to model the butt. That's not true. It's quite uncomfortable because you got to stare at it for a while. Getting in some ribs. I wanted to make them look quite skinny, like emaciated, just like the most unappealing qualities possible. Getting in some neck stuff now, the veins and tendons and stuff. I think I'm almost done with the torso here, and then I'll move on to oh, I made them thick for a second. I forgot about that. I think I'll move on to the arms next. The arms, just more standard human-like arms. And the legs, on the other hand, I made them more. They're like a goat, like satyrs from Greek mythology. Here, I used the wrong scene in OBS, so you can see me watching some Mandalorian behind the scenes video on my other monitor. That's normally where chat is when I live stream on Twitch. Uh, I'll put the link to that in the description if you want to follow me there. I don't know what else is going to show up there. I forgot this happened. Now, yeah, I've moved on to the arms at this point. Hands now, in fact. It's really hard to model hands, honestly. Oh, now Instagram is up. I'm probably going to censor that. Hands are one of my weak points. I think most people's weak points are hands. It's very hard to model hands. They're such complex shapes, and you see them so often you can tell if the smallest thing is wrong. I think these hands came out okay. There's still stuff that I would change, but this is my very first project like this, full body sculpt like this. At least first one that I've recorded and really finished. Those hands were way too small, so I scaled them up, and then in a moment I'm going to attach them to the arm and then blend them in. I think the hands came out okay, just okay. I could definitely have done better, but they're alright. They're passable. So I wanted to do a demon like this because I just think it's cool. There's no particular reason. This isn't a specific character. It's just like generic devil imagery. I like it. I wasn't sure where to go with this, like I said before, but I think I'm pretty happy with the direction I ended up going in. The hands here, I mean, this is in 12 times speed, so you can only imagine how long these hands took me. They're pretty brutal for me. And now I move on to the legs. I didn't know how to make goat legs, so I had to kind of figure it out as I went on. You can see I had just big shapes like this. I start off with extruded spheres, not UV spheres, the other one, and then I sculpt on top of that for details. I do these hooves pretty wrong, but I come back later and fix them. And now I start making what was an attempt to be a hair texture. I'm not sure if I really hit hair, like readably hair in this. I think that's something I would improve on this if I ever put more time into it in the future. I think it doesn't really read as hair very well. But at this point, all the proportions are pretty much laid out. I think I come in and fix the hooves here soon. I attach the hands, yeah, right now I attach the hands, and I think now I come in, yeah, and fix those hooves. I still think I didn't quite nail them, but they're better. Give them a little bit more dimension, if you will, here, and then I go into the face, I remesh it, fix it up a little bit, and now I'm connecting all the limbs to the body and fixing the shoulders, and then I already connected the legs. Okay, so now the body's pretty much done. Now I've moved on. I'm making a trident here for him to hold. Just basic modeling stuff. I messed that up, so I had to redo that. Just a real basic trident. I just googled devil trident on Google Images and copied one of them. Yeah, simple modeling stuff. No sculpting here or anything. Made a little, what's it called, a pommel on the end. And then colored these little parts black. Okay, back to the body now. Now I do some texture painting. I believe there's the Smart UV unwrap. Set the base color, change the roughness, and I start painting the legs brown. And I go in with a second tone and kind of add some dimension to it. Make the hooves black. You don't see the hooves in the final render anyway because of the angle, the camera angle I went for. Yeah, gotta get the nipples. Can't forget those. Everyone's got them. And then kind of blurring in the connection of the hair to the skin. Now I'm smart unwrapping the head. Now something strange happened here. If anyone knows what happened, I would love for you to comment. I got some strange artifacting. I would get random flecks of whatever color I was using all throughout the model. I'm not sure if that's that artifacting is from maybe the smart UV unwrap not going perfectly. You can see them here as I'm cleaning this up. I tried to fix them, but they just would come back on other parts. I couldn't exactly get them. I had to fix them in Photoshop in the final render. And here I do the eyes. I don't spend too long on the eyes because they're so far away in the final render that you can't really see them, so I just do that. And then finally I start rigging. Now I know there's a way to automatically symmetrize a rig, but I don't know how to do it. And I figured that it would be faster for me to just do it manually than to learn how to do it this time. I will learn in the future how to do that. I know you have to name all the bones and stuff. It's quite the process. But I just manually rigged them here. And then I didn't do as complex of a rig on his left hand because it wouldn't be doing anything just at his side. So now I'm posing him, not a crazy pose, just hand at the side here and then holding up the trident in the other hand. I'm twisting him to face towards his bottom left, putting the trident in his hand, wrapping the fingers around, which was, I mean, again, this is 12 times speed. That was quite the process for me to get those looking right. It still wasn't perfect, but I think it was okay. And then I set up the camera, and finally add in some lights. I'll fix that hand one more time. Now add in some lights. Get one, I wanted a nice rim light around his back, so I add one in there. And then I've got my render. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Here's the final render.